Thanks for taking care of my mom for 5 years. By the way, I have a child with my mistress, so we're getting a divorce. You're no longer needed.
My husband, Kevin, suddenly told me this. For 5 years, I had endured hardship while taking care of Kevin's mother. Triggered by Kevin's words, I devised a certain game. The name of the game is revenge. And this game would lead to a shocking conclusion. I'm Emma, 34 years old. I work in sales administration. I met my husband, Kevin, through work, and we got married 2 years ago. At first, our marriage was going well, but my relationship with Kevin's mother, Mary, gradually deteriorated. The strained relationship with Mary started casting a shadow over us. Mary, did she say something about me again?
Don't worry about it. Mom just needs some time to get used to things.
Then one day, we received news that Kevin's parents were in a car accident.
Emma, my parents were in an accident.
What? Are they okay? Kevin's father passed away in the accident, and Mary was seriously injured, requiring care.
Mary will need long-term care from now on.
I see.
After much deliberation, Kevin decided to entrust Mary's care to me.
Emma, I need you to take care of my mom.
What? But I have my job too.
There's no one else I can rely on. I can't quit my job, please.
I had no choice but to accept Kevin's request. However, I had no idea that this decision would have such an unexpected impact on our relationship. Mary, I bought some pudding from the store today.
I hate pudding. How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry. I forgot it.
Taking care of me is your job, so do it properly.
I took a deep breath and suppressed my emotions. This kind of exchange continued for 5 years. Then, one day, 5 years after the caregiving began, Mary passed away. A mix of emotions welled up inside me. I'm finally free. Oh no, I shouldn't think like that. But it was really tough all this time. But now maybe I can spend more time with Kevin. While feeling confused about my own emotions, I also felt hopeful about my future. Finally, time for just Kevin and me was coming. I want to go on a trip. I've always dreamed of traveling abroad. My heart was filled with hope. A few days after Mary's funeral, Kevin told me he needed to talk.
Emma, I need to talk to you.
What is it?
The truth is, I want a divorce.
I couldn't believe my ears. It sounded like a bad joke. What? What did you just say?
I want a divorce. I can't be with you anymore.
What do you mean? Why?
Thank you for taking care of Mom, but we don't have anything in common anymore.
Nothing in common. We've been through so much together for 5 years.
That was just for Mom, right? We didn't have any time as a couple.
But I was the only one who could take care of Mary, and you were always working.
Yeah, I was working, and you were taking care of Mom. There's no going back now.
Something inside me shattered. It was the moment when 5 years of hardship turned to nothing. Wait, Kevin, we can still make this work. Let's go on a trip, maybe overseas, and take some time to relax. We can forget about everything else and just talk, okay?
It's too late. I've fallen in love with someone else.
It felt like the world had stopped. Everything went dark, and I felt like I was going to collapse. You can't be serious.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
I was overwhelmed with intense anger and despair. even though I desperately took care of Mary. Why? I took care of Mary every single day. How could you just?
Emma, please calm down and listen.
How can I calm down? It's been 5 years. Have you ever thought about how much time I sacrificed?
I know. That's why I don't want to keep holding you back anymore.
Holding me back? Are you saying I'm a burden to you?
No, it's not that. It's just,
Just what? Say it.
we're already over.
I felt a violent tremor run through me. Anger, sadness, despair, and a deep sense of loss surged through my body. Let me think about this. That night, I finally broke down. Tears flowed uncontrollably. Why is it only me? I collapsed to the floor and sobbed. I couldn't accept the reality that 5 years of my life had been wasted. Love and hatred for Kevin and regret for myself swirled within me. I didn't work so hard for this, Kevin. You've taken my life away from me. While regretting my choices, I felt lost about how to live the rest of my life. The 5 years spent caregiving and the sudden announcement of divorce. I won't let things go Kevin's way. After much thought, I finally came up with the best idea. I firmly refused Kevin's request for a divorce. It was all for the sake of a revenge game. The next day, Kevin brought up the divorce again.
Emma, I'm telling you again, let's get a divorce.
No, absolutely not. Kevin looked at me with a determined expression.
Then, let me be clear. First of all, thanks for taking care of my mom for 5 years. But the truth is, I have a child with my mistress. So please, just divorce me. You're no longer needed.
A mistress and their child. Unbelievable words came out of Kevin's mouth. But I had already made up my mind. I couldn't let these words shake me. Oh, I see. But no, I won't do it.
What? I'm begging you. I don't love you anymore.
No, because I still love you. Kevin's frustration was obvious. Kevin, let me teach you something about the law. Even if a spouse suddenly asks for a divorce, it can't be granted without a valid reason. Unilateral demands without just cause are not recognized by the law, and I still believe in our future together. So we can't get a divorce. There isn't any decisive evidence. Kevin sighed deeply, looking troubled. So I won't divorce you.
Why? It's over.
It's not over. We're still married. Kevin looked confused and couldn't say anything more. After that, Kevin's lifestyle changed dramatically. He started coming home less and often stayed out all night. But I continued to talk to him and fulfilled my role as his wife. This was because if we stopped talking completely, it could be considered a valid reason for divorce. To get revenge on Kevin, I needed to play the role of a fictional character. One day, Kevin came home looking exhausted. Hi, how was your day? Dinner's ready.
Yeah,
Can you come home early tomorrow?
I don't know. It depends on my work.
All right, I'll leave dinner on the table then. Kevin nodded silently, looking conflicted. Though puzzled by my attitude, he continued with his life. However, my true intention was revenge. To carry out my plan, I needed a collaborator. By involving others, I could increase the amount of time we spent together. And in doing so, make Kevin increasingly frustrated. First, I leveraged my company connections. I frequently invited Kevin's colleagues over for dinner parties. Welcome, everyone. Please make yourselves at home.
Thank you, Emma. We appreciate it.
Thanks for always inviting me.
Don't worry, I'm having fun too. Kevin couldn't hide his confusion.
Emma, why do you have party at home so often?
Your work relationships are important, right? I want to do what I can. After all, we owe a lot to your company. Kevin could only manage a strained smile. I started hosting these gatherings several times a week. I even included Kevin in personal discussions with his juniors, further entangling myself in his personal life.
Actually, I'm struggling with work.
I see. Kevin, what do you think?
Well,
Let's think it through together as a couple. Kevin's irritation was clear, but he couldn't refuse due to his work connections and had to tolerate my actions. As this continued, Kevin looked increasingly weary, but I steadily progressed with my plan. A few days later, when Kevin came home, there were his colleagues at the house again.
another party.
Yes, that's right. Let's all have a good time tonight.
Kevin, we're really grateful to Emma.
I wish I had a wife like Emma.
Yeah, I suppose.
I smiled inwardly, enjoying Kevin's discomfort. My revenge had only just begun. Even though I knew about his mistress, Victoria, I didn't mention her at all. Instead, I planned to involve the people around Kevin to push him to the edge. Kevin, tomorrow one of your juniors needs some advice. Let's listen to him together.
Emma, enough is enough.
What do you mean enough? We're just doing what we can as a couple.
But we are already.
We're still married. As long as I don't agree to a divorce, you're still my husband. Kevin was at a loss for words, only deepening his anguish. My actions began to affect Kevin's reputation at work. His colleagues envied his home life, and his bosses admired my thoughtfulness. However, this added tremendous pressure on Kevin.
Kevin, Emma is really amazing, even considering your work.
Yes, thank you.
A happy home life means you can work even harder. We're counting on you.
Yes.
Kevin's face was clouded, but no one noticed. Meanwhile, I was satisfied with how smoothly my plan was progressing. By pushing Kevin to his limits, I began to heal my own wounds little by little. This is how it should be, Kevin. You'll experience suffering many times over what you've caused me. Kevin's anguish deepened day by day. He became afraid to come home, yet couldn't avoid it, finding himself stuck in a dilemma.
Victoria, what should I do?
I don't know. It's something you have to decide.
But Emma won't agree to our divorce. If this continues,
I can't wait forever. Make a decision soon.
Kevin sighed deeply. His life was completely stuck. Meanwhile, I felt a certain thrill knowing my revenge was working. This is how it should be. I'm in the right. However, I started to feel that my words echoed in emptiness. Revenge didn't fill my heart. It created a new void. Still, I decided to continue with my plan. Seeing Kevin suffer had become my only comfort. Kevin betrayed me. I couldn't back down now. Kevin, we're having another party tomorrow. Let's enjoy it.
Okay.
One day, I received news that Victoria had given birth. I received a notification from Victoria on my tablet. This was to gather evidence. I had synced Kevin's messaging app with my tablet so I could monitor their conversations whenever I wanted. That night, I spoke to Kevin when he came home from work. Kevin, I heard Victoria gave birth. Kevin looked shocked and speechless.
What? She did? How do you know that?
Well, it doesn't matter. More importantly, weren't you there for her birth?
No, I wasn't.
Why not?
Well, there was a party. It got pretty lively.
I smirked inwardly. It's amusing to watch Kevin suffer. But he should be more concerned about how I knew about Victoria's childbirth. That night, Kevin received a message from Victoria on his smartphone.
Why didn't you come? Do you even know what day it was?
I'm sorry. I had my work to do.
Work? Are we that unimportant to you? You prioritize work over us.
No, it's not like that. It's just,
Enough. I won't expect anything from you anymore.
Victoria, please, calm down and listen.
There's nothing to listen to. I'll come to your house after I'm discharged so we can talk.
Seeing Kevin's anguish brought me a certain satisfaction. But this message from Victoria made Kevin suddenly explode in anger.
Emma, this is all your fault.
What are you talking about with your face all red?
Because you keep throwing these parties, I couldn't be there for Victoria. Even tonight, I couldn't go because of yet another party. Every time you host one, I'm forced to go out drinking with colleagues and spend money I don't have.
I'm just doing my best for you. Isn't work networking important?
Enough. You've ruined my life. If this continues, I'll break down.
While Kevin's anger washed over me, I was delighted inside. Everything was going according to plan. A few days later, the doorbell rang. On the monitor was an enraged woman with heavy makeup. It must be Victoria.
Open up. Do you have any idea how much trouble you've caused me? It's unbelievable that you were partying while I was suffering.
Maintaining my composure, I opened the door. Who might you be? Is something wrong? Victoria's face contorted with rage the moment she saw me.
Is something wrong? You've ruined everything. You've made everyone around you miserable.
Kevin appeared at the door, looking shocked.
Victoria, wait. Calm down.
Shut up. How can I calm down? You both ruined my life.
What are you talking about? We've done nothing. Victoria pointed a finger at me.
Because you kept Kevin tied down, our relationship.
Relationship? What kind of relationship are you talking about? This conversation with Victoria felt like a psychological battle, and I found it quite enjoyable. Victoria was momentarily taken aback, but quickly regained her anger.
Fine. There's no need to hide it anymore. Kevin and I are in love. He told me he has no interest in you at all.
Victoria, stop. Please, just stop.
Is that so? Well, I already knew. Both of them looked shocked.
You're just bluffing. Do you really think that will work on me?
I silently took out my smartphone and showed them the screen. No, it's neither a bluff nor a front. I have all the evidence. Your messages, voice recordings. If you were going to commit adultery, you should have been more careful. But Kevin didn't even bother to be cautious. Truly pathetic. Kevin was speechless, just standing there in shock. Victoria, trembling with rage, said,
So, you had all this prepared. What do you want? To blackmail us?
Blackmail? Oh no, I would never do such a thing. I don't attack the weak. I just want to convey the truth.
The truth? What truth is there to convey?
You plan to take all this to the police, don't you?
It's a revenge game. I was playing a revenge game on Kevin and you. The goal of the game was for Kevin to feel what I felt, being suddenly asked for a divorce. During the game, Kevin was clearly irritated with me. Victoria felt the same way. After all, you two wanted to get married. But all that irritation was orchestrated by me. You both were dancing in the palm of my hand. I knew everything from the start, Kevin's affair and Victoria's pregnancy. Whenever I talked to Kevin, I recorded everything. I also kept track of all the messages between Kevin and Victoria. I synced Kevin's phone with my tablet. On the couch, in the train, at the cafe, and in the bathroom. I could read your messages anytime, anywhere. Even those indecent messages you exchanged.
Emma, you.
Yes, I planned everything to corner Kevin.
But why?
I've told you many times. It's revenge.
Emma, I'm actually.
It's over. Most of the game is already done. Victoria, with a mix of anger and confusion, said,
So, our relationship was just part of your scheme?
No, your relationship is real. I just used it. There's no psychology easier to exploit than true love. And through true love, human nature is revealed. That's Kevin and Victoria. Victoria, with a blend of anger and sadness, said,
You're truly a hideous. No, you're a terrifying person.
Maybe. But to me, a woman who steals someone else's husband is more terrifying. Actually, it's downright filthy. I told Victoria with a smile. Victoria stormed out of the house in a fit of rage. Left alone with Kevin, the room was silent, with no TV or anything on. It was a void.
Emma, I'm actually.
Let's have dinner. I'll make pasta tonight.
Thank you.
A few days later, Kevin seemed to have calmed down a bit. I continued to take care of him devotedly. The game was not yet over. Kevin, your lunch is ready.
Oh, thank you.
There was a hint of regret in his voice. Then one day, Kevin spoke to me.
Emma, I need to talk.
Talk? What's going on?
Emma, I'm really sorry for everything I've done. I was wrong. I realized that everything you've done for me and my parents isn't something to take for granted. But I've hurt your feelings, so
Take your time.
I want to apologize for everything. I want to start over with you.
Hearing you say that makes me really happy. You've been busy with your work, and I'm sorry I didn't notice.
No, it's my fault. So please, don't apologize.
Kevin, you want to continue living with me, right?
Yes, of course. From now on, I'll help with the housework and do anything. I've realized how important you are.
Finally, the game reached its finale. To end my revenge game, a finale was essential. I have something to say too. Remember when you begged me for a divorce? I'll accept it. Let's get divorced.
What are you saying? You kept refusing.
Yes, I did refuse. You should be happy your wish is coming true. You wanted a divorce, didn't you?
No, that's not. This is.
Oh, I'm sorry if I misled you. I kept refusing for the sake of the game. To reach the game's finale, I needed you to be hurt just like I was.
What? I don't understand. A game? Reality? What do you mean?
Well, it looks like you need to cool your head a bit. Pack your things and leave the house by today.
But I have nowhere to go.
I'm telling you to get out. I don't love you anymore, and I have your admission of wanting a divorce. Just accept it. So, be gone by tonight. On our last night together, I took out the papers. These are the divorce papers. Kevin, sign them. He took the document with a trembling hand and signed it hesitantly. Taking the papers, I said to Kevin, "Goodbye, be happy, and good luck with the alimony." With that, Kevin left the room. Through the door, I could hear what sounded like him crying. Taking a deep breath, I whispered to myself, "It's over now. It's finally over." Everything was finished. I thought my revenge had been perfectly successful. However, trouble doesn't end that easily. A few days later, unexpected visitors appeared at my house. Standing at the door were Kevin and Victoria. Next to them, with faces full of anger, were Victoria's parents, Eric and Lily.
Open up.
Lily shouted at an unbelievable volume. I maintained my calm demeanor as I opened the door. What happened?
Don't ask what happened. You're the cause of all this.
The cause of all this?
Do you have any idea how much Victoria has suffered because of you?
Could you be more specific about what you mean? Eric clenched his fists.
Because you kept Kevin tied down, Victoria had to give birth alone.
Do you know how hard it is for a woman to give birth by herself?
I felt a smirk in my heart but kept it off my face. That must have been tough. But honestly, this has nothing to do with me, and you're inconveniencing me by coming here.
You destroyed people's lives and enjoy it?
Eric's words ignited my fury. What do you mean by destroying people's lives?
I mean, because of you.
The one whose life was destroyed is me. Ignoring Eric, I continued speaking. I was troubled by issues with my mother-in-law and took care of her for 5 years. During that time, Kevin was having an affair with Victoria. When I found out, I was devastated. I wondered what I was living for. That's what I was thinking back then. I was furious with Kevin and Victoria, but if I let that anger control me, I would end up in trouble with the law. So, to protect myself, I devised a certain game.
A game?
Yes, a revenge game against useless Kevin and unsatisfied Victoria.
Victoria is unsatisfied? Don't you dare insult her.
Let me tell you about the game. The idea was to plant stress and dissatisfaction between Kevin and Victoria, making them attack each other. The result? It worked as expected. I even had his colleagues and juniors at work help me. At this point, Eric and Lily asked a crucial question.
Why Victoria?
Because she had an affair with my husband, Kevin. It's that simple.
But you can't be certain they were having their affair, right?
Yes, I can. It's 99.9% certain. I have their admissions and, more importantly, I have their message and voice recordings. Records don't lie. I took out my smartphone and showed Eric and Lily the evidence. It contained the messages and voice recordings between Kevin and Victoria. Here is all the evidence. The proof of Kevin and Victoria's relationship and their betrayal. Lily stared at the screen, her face turning pale. Eric was speechless, standing there in shock.
Emma, please stop.
This happened because you saw pleasure without considering my feelings. Don't underestimate women. With tears in her eyes, Lily said,
How did it come to this?
Because Victoria had an affair with Kevin, and this is the result. Eric spoke with a mixture of anger and sadness.
You too.
No, this is all a result of their choices. I simply accepted the reality. Eric and Lily stood there, unable to say anything. Do you understand now? We're already divorced. Don't interfere with us anymore. I will be demanding alimony from both of you. I've hired a lawyer and will pursue this thoroughly, so be prepared. Eric and Lily nodded silently and left. Kevin and Victoria looked utterly devastated. After that, our lives diverged completely, like the sky and the sea. I was enjoying my new life. After my divorce, I went on the overseas trips I had always dreamed of, traveling around the world. Before getting married, I endured daily harassment from my mother-in-law. Soon after getting married, I started caring for her. And then it was the hellish revenge game. I never had time for myself. Finally, I can live my own life. No one will protect me. I have to protect myself. I whispered to myself while drinking an espresso at a cafe in Paris. Meanwhile, Kevin's life took a nosedive compared to before. Since that incident, he was fired from his job and constantly struggled to pay alimony.
Please, give me one more chance. God, just one last chance.
Kevin muttered while desperately looking at job sites. But the rumors of his affair scandal spread, and no company would hire him. Victoria was suffering too. To pay the alimony, she was living in a rundown apartment with her baby.
This isn't how it was supposed to be.
Victoria lamented, annoyed by the crying of her baby in the cramped apartment. It's not the child's fault. I can understand that way of thinking. But that doesn't mean I can forgive them. Before anything else, they hurt me. Kevin and Victoria still occasionally contact each other, but the passion is gone, and all they do is blame each other.
You ruined my life.
You lied to me. You're going to pay child support.
Is that kid even mine? Get a test. There's no way I can trust a curse like you.
A curse? Are you serious?
Yeah, I am. Isn't it the truth? Because of you, I lost my job and my social standing.
Don't make fun of me. You're always thinking about yourself.
Their conversations always end in arguments. In contrast, my life keeps getting brighter. I found new hobbies and am living fulfilling days. I've forgotten all about revenge, but it was a fun game. I'd say it was my complete victory. I share this with a smile while enjoying dinner with my new friends. Life is short. There's no time to hesitate. Our current situations are a perfect example of karma. Kevin and Victoria will have to face their foolishness. The price of their affair was much heavier than they ever imagined.